heritage. I saw him in a little cantina. It was highly Americanized and very colorful, but he had the most beautiful brown skin, jet black hair, eyes the color of mole, and just as spicy. I had just started learning Spanish at school, and he was fluent, so our conversations were a little awkward, and went something like this. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm sorry, what? Hola, ¿cómo estás? One more time. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, need to. Somehow I always managed to choke out the right answers, but beyond that, we'd run out of things to say to each other, so we'd smile and wave. Then he'd race off back to work, leaving behind him a trail of pheromones and cologne I'd inhale and wave again. Because I was younger, by a lot, and couldn't possibly love him, I settled for stalking him at work and learning his language, which I called just eating dinner. It was by accident that I fell in love with the language instead of him. There was something about the way the words were postured on the page, the way they flowed when spoken. They mingled with my heartbeat and created a bachata dance I could do all night. I drowned myself in their culture. It swam into me and found the piece of my heart I favored least and nurtured it. It wasn't until some years later I found out I am Latino. See, my family comes from deep South Mississippi, where these things are not to be mentioned, and white was a proud label displayed on my grandfather's forehead. It was the first thing he'd mention in a conversation. I still bear some of the similar markings, but they have become smudged with time and in a certain light almost read human. My grandfather started pronouncing the family name of Cortez as Court is. But now the only picture left of my grandfather's father is hanging in my stairwell. In it he stands strong, shoulders back, with a handlebar mustache and a sombrero perched proudly atop his head. He is the quintessential Hispanic man, despite the blue eyes that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation of my family, and that have become the most integral part of my grandfather's denial of our heritage. In that photograph, my great-grandfather is the quintessential Hispanic man, and I love him for it. For my curves, for the way my attitude flares at the most inconvenient times, for the way my mouth is built to speak Spanish, the sweet syllables rolling off my tongue, and though my nickname remains Blanca, my family becomes mi familia.